Hello everyone, happy new year. It's officially 2023 and I'm filming this, it's still 2022, but clearly you're watching this in 2023 because that's when I'm posting it. I am feeling so inspired. This is one of my favorite times of the year, which is funny because I feel like I also say that about Christmas time because I love filming Vlogmas and I am just coming off of Vlogmas as I'm filming this right now. But what's nice is for me, Christmas ends and then I'm like, New Year's energy. Yes, fresh start energy is what I'm all about. So I'm really excited to film this video because I'm going to be talking about ways I want to get my life together for 2023. Yes, I am filming this in a cozy robe. This is one of Tyler's old robes and it's just a little chilly in my apartment right now and I love it and I'm going to embrace it and I'm just gonna be cozy over here. So ways I want to get my life together for 2023. I had put that in air quotes, get my life together, because my life is pretty together. Honestly, I feel pretty good. I don't feel like my life is a total mess right now. You know, like I just graduated with my master's degree in marriage and family therapy. Well, as I'm filming this, the registrar has yet to email me that my degree has posted, but hopefully by the time this video goes up, I will have gotten that email and will officially have my master's degree, because as soon as I have my master's degree officially posted, I can, well, I might have a job lined up. That's not guaranteed, but I might have a job lined up, or if not, if that kind of falls through, then having my degree is when I can actually start applying for jobs. I have been unemployed and just a full-time student for way too long. So in that sense, I don't feel like my life is together. Like I need an income. I need to be working, but not just any job. Like I've been working so hard to get my degree. I would like to actually be working as a therapist, which is really exciting. So that's on the docket for 2023. But right now that's sort of out of my control. But there are certain things that are in my control that I can start doing whether I have a job or not. And I want to talk about some of those things. And I also want to talk about some ways that I feel like I've already gotten my life together, and so just things I want to maintain as well. Like what worked for me in 2022 when I was thinking at the end of 2021, how am I gonna get my life together for 2022? Like how did I actually do that? In what ways do I feel like I did that? And what should I maintain? And what did I learn from so that I could actually build on that for 2023? So we'll get into all of that. I'm gonna start with ways I feel like I already have my life together. At the start of 2022, I started using what I called my Keep It Together checklist. So I didn't even call it a Get It Together checklist because even at this time I felt like I feel like I have it together, but how can I have it all in one place so that I can visually remind myself of the things I need to be doing as a routine so I can feel like I am keeping my life together. And for the most part, I was able to keep up with this checklist. It's divided into daily, weekly, bi-monthly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly tasks. It is not by any means comprehensive. And this time last year, there were things that were more applicable to that time in my life. And now I actually need to update this because there are certain things that just aren't a priority anymore or no longer apply to me. But what was really nice about this, I actually kept this next to another thing that I'll show you in my bathroom. So I would be reminded of little things like, oh yeah, I haven't checked the mail this week yet. Oh, I should probably do that. Or like reminding me to replace my razor head is something that's so random and little, but it's like, hey, I get a razor head subscription, so I should be using these razors and I should be replacing them anyway. So little things like that. So I was reminded to do that. And I was really, really good about it. Also with certain cleaning things, it would help remind me like, oh, you haven't cleaned your floors in a really long time. You're supposed to be sweeping and vacuuming at least monthly. I mean, I should be doing it more often than that, but at least monthly. And then mopping the floors at least quarterly. Again, ideally I'd be doing it more often than that, but I just don't. But I feel like if I didn't have it on this list, these things would just not happen. This is one thing that really helped me keep my life together. Going off of that, the other thing that lived on the wall of my bathroom for the past year is this chart. It is called Flossing is Fun, because I'm a child and I need like a freaking sticker chart basically to incentivize me to do things that I just forget to do. Or I think, oh, that's gonna take so long. I don't know, you know, it's not like I don't brush my teeth, but just I would skip flossing. I was never good about flossing until 2022. And even having this up, there were a lot of days that I missed until October. It was like the beginning of October. I actually haven't skipped a day since I think October 4th. I don't know. But for some reason, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna break the chain. Don't break the chain. So, visual reminder to floss. I learned that flossing does not take a lot of time at all. It feels really good. It's really satisfying. And having this visual reminder was really, really great. I actually learned from this what really works for me to incentivize me, and I'm going to build on it to make my skincare routine more consistent. So I'll show you that a little bit later, but this is something that I was able to implement in 2022 and it worked for me really, really well. And now I can honestly say I'm someone who flosses every day. When I go to the dentist twice a year and they're like, oh, have you been flossing? I don't lie. I can go, yeah, I've got a chart because I parent myself, which I guess is what we're supposed to do. The third way I feel like I already have my life together, I've been doing really well with socializing. I am an introvert. Hardcore introvert. I cannot be around people for too long of a period of time. I can go a long time spending time by myself. I actually think I am the best person I know and the most interesting person I know and the funniest person I know, and I just think I'm super smart and amazing and I love to spend time with myself. However, that being said, there are several people in my life that are really important to me that I care a lot about and I want to see on a regular basis. So I have a spreadsheet that has a bunch of different tabs. That's a spreadsheet I created in 2018. It was like the end of 2018, right after I separated from my ex. And I called that getting my life together because my life was not together. But it started with a budget and then it just like built from there. I have so many different tabs that they go in and out of season, I guess, where eventually I'll hide it if I feel like it doesn't apply to me anymore. But anyway, I've recently started over the last year a tab of checking in on friends and family. So I keep track. Okay, when's the last time I talked to this person or hung out with this person? And I try to make sure I'm checking in with everyone at least once a month. And there were times where I didn't, so I wasn't not perfect by any stretch, but it helped me a lot more than when I didn't have it in the first place. I have my best friend, Rachel. She was actually in a lot of my YouTube videos back when I was living in Maryland, and she still lives across the country. But over this past year, we've been able to do check-ins, video check-ins, once a month pretty consistently over all of 2022. I feel like my social balance is very good right now and I want to maintain that. And the fact that I've been able to do that during what I hope will be the busiest time, the busiest year of my life, which was basically August 2021 through July 2022 because of my internship, like being an unpaid intern, being a full-time student and working part of that time and doing theater for most of that time. I was very, very busy and able to continue socializing and recharging my introvert battery at the same time. So I did really well with that. Another thing that I did pretty well over 2022 was washing my dishes almost every single day. That is something that was on my daily checklist of my Keep It Together checklist. So I wasn't always checking it off, but for the most part, I was doing it. And if I didn't do it, then Tyler, who is my angel and my hero and my knight in shining armor, would do it for me. And I got a lot better about it towards the end of the summer and through the fall, because I was having a lot of bug issues, and so that was a huge incentive to make sure I wasn't going to bed with any dirty dishes in my sink. Another thing that I did really well was maintaining a study and schoolwork routine. I've always been a good student, but these past couple years in grad school just really confirmed that for me, that I am very motivated to do well in school. Intrinsically, I will not be in school until next fall, so basically end of August 2023, but the habits and processes that I put in place from 2020 through 2022, I know that that's there. It's not going to go away, and I'm just going to be able to jump right into my student routine that made it so I had a 4.0 GPA all throughout grad school. I won an award. You actually can't see it. It's like right there. But of my cohort, I won most outstanding student in my program. I didn't even know that was an award you could win, and I won it. I did not know that was a thing, so there wasn't any extrinsic motivation, I guess. But I look at that and I'm like, damn, yeah, I did work really hard. I did really well. That's like a visual piece of evidence that I can look back on, like, ah, okay, great. So whatever I'm doing, it's working, and I'm gonna keep that the same. Let's see. The next thing I feel like I've been doing pretty well is my daily French practice. Sometimes the quality of the French practice is not that great, but I do it every day, even if it's just playing a little matching game on Duolingo. But my streak is over 1,000 days. So this is not just 2022. I've been doing it in 21 and I think most of 2020 as well, right? That maths, right? And then when I was in Montreal with Tyler, it really lit a fire under my butt, because when I went there, I thought I'd be able to understand and speak a lot more than I was actually able to. I did okay. You know, but it's a pretty bilingual city. So it was easy to not be sort of forced into practicing, because almost everyone spoke English as well. And as soon as they heard Tyler speak, they just automatically would speak in English. But it did teach me, like, look, if you want to be truly fluent, you need to intensify your French practice. So there have been times where it's been better and times where it's not been that great, but I've been consistent no matter what. Another thing I did really well in 2022 is increase the frequency of reading for fun, because I did a lot of reading for school. Grad school is like mostly reading, if you are curious about what it's like to be a grad student. I did a lot of reading for fun, and it kind of started when I did an experiment for a YouTube video that never went up, actually. I did a week of no TV, no movies, and no YouTube. It was really hard. I cried. I don't know why I never posted the video. I don't know, but one thing that I had to replace was, instead of watching TV to help me fall asleep, I feel like I needed something, and my meditations weren't cutting it. So one of my friends introduced me to the app Libby. If you don't know what Libby is and you're like, reading can be so expensive, get Libby. You just need to like set up your library card with this app, and even if you don't have a library card, you can like get one through the app, and then just get all these audiobooks and ebooks for free. For free. Yes, sometimes you have to wait. There are waiting lists, but you can usually find something that you don't need to wait for to listen to or read while you are waiting for the things that are on your hold shelf. You know what I mean? So I listened to way more audiobooks in 2022 than I ever have, I think, in my entire life. And so just having it in the car on my commutes, you know, going for walks with it in my ears, I was able to consume a lot more books, which just felt really good. I actually wrapped up every single book I read in 2022 in one of my Vlogmas videos. Exercise routine has just been very consistent and on this entire year. It helps that I just have an unlimited monthly membership to Cycle Bars, so I know that I have access to a fitness class whenever I want. Yes, I have a very complicated relationship with exercise. I'm trying to tweak that. I have like overcorrected and then swung back to the other end of the pendulum. I'm trying to find sort of a balance in there. But I did really well. I ran 2 half marathons in 2022 as well, so I was able to train for both of those half marathons. And even though I have a complicated relationship with exercise, it's not something I'd ever want to break up with, because exercise by itself is not an unhealthy habit. It's actually a habit I'm really grateful for, and it does a lot of really good things for me. I just need to work on reframing some of that relationship. But I don't want to not be exercising at the same time, because there are lots of other benefits that have nothing to do with micromanaging the size of my body. Another thing I did really well that I'm really thankful for, I mentioned previously having a budget that I created at the end of 2018 as right after I separated from my ex, because I'm like, I need a budget because I don't know how to do anything. I basically had to learn how to adult in my late 20s, and teach myself all these things. So I put in some really great habits early on that I was able to maintain, and habits that I really needed and relied on while I have been virtually unemployed and just a full-time student, basically living off of student loans. So I have learned how to live within my means, which my means is basically nothing. So I guess I'm sort of living outside of my means, because everything I'm living off of is borrowed money at the moment. But I don't look at it as like borrowed money is free money and do whatever you want with it. It's like, I know full well that I need to pay this back, and that I need to be very careful with how I'm spending it. So I was able to stick to my budget in 2022, and I have these skills that are so important that I will maintain even when I am working and able to like actually start adding back to my savings accounts again. I'm very excited about that. Another thing I've been doing really well in 2022, where I feel like, hey girl, you've got your life together. My partner, Tyler, he's been on my channel a lot. He and I have a very solid relationship, and when there is tension or conflict or anything like that, we have a really good system for navigating it. And yes, I've been very privileged in being in a program that teaches me couples therapy. So there are a lot of skills that I've sort of picked up from being in school that I've been able to apply to my own life and my own relationship. Don't interpret that as I'm doing couples therapy but on me and Tyler. That's not what that is. It's just, I know how I would help a couple. So because of that, I can sort of embody the skills that I would hope like a couple that is my client starts to learn and practice between the two of them. And then Tyler is so wonderful, and he's someone who has a lot of respect for education, and so he never goes like, oh, you're therapizing me, or like, oh, did you learn that in your program? You know, he's very much like, oh, I hadn't thought of that. That's really interesting, that whatever you learned in school, let's try that. And then we also just sort of figure it out on our own, and it's been really good. Okay, 2 more things that I feel like I've been doing really well. I forgot to go grab it, but I still have that 5-year line a day journal that I shared in a current favorites in the summer of 2018. I still have it, and it is done. I have journaled a little blurb about every single day for the past 5 years, and it's been really interesting to look back and like, what was I doing this time, this day 3 years ago? How is my life different now than it was 2 years ago, 5 years ago? Like, it's so interesting. So I actually bought a whole other 5-year line a day journal for the next 5 years, and I'm just excited that by the end of those 5 years, I'm gonna have 10 years of little blurbs about every day chronicled. And the last thing that I've been doing really well with in 2022, and even before that I want to continue, is I make coffee at home every single morning. I save so much money by doing that. And I have packed my lunches whenever I've had to be out of the house for a big chunk of time. I pack my lunches so that I'm not spending money on takeout, eating out unnecessarily. So that's something that kind of I had to learn through necessity of saving money and not making any money and having to work within a very, very tight budget over these past couple years while I've been in school. But even still, when I don't necessarily have to be that like tighten the belt that much, that's still a really great habit to have in place. So I wanna keep that up. Those are the things I feel like I did really, really well in 2022. So next, in general, what are some areas of my life that I want to improve? Number one, and this video is not made for kids, so, but if you're watching this around your kids, maybe now's the time to put your headphones in or like go into a different room, I guess. I don't know. I never really warn people about this, and I usually just jump into talking about adult stuff. But hey, it's a new year. I don't know, maybe I should start doing that. My sex life. Okay. I talked about this in one of my Vlogmases. I am someone who's very open about talking about sex. I don't think there's anything shameful about sex or talking about it. For years, most of my adult life, if not my entire adult life, I have been someone who just unabashedly can talk to just about anyone about sex. Whoever's open to talking to me about it, it usually comes up. Like, I don't know, with my friends, whatever, sex comes up, masturbation, all that stuff. So I'm very, very open about it. And I'm learning more and more about my own, I guess my sexuality. I mean, I'm heterosexual, but like my way of being sexually, because I'm someone who is very curious about sex and talking about sex and different sexual experiences and techniques and things like that, but I'm not someone with spontaneous sexual desire. So I don't actually have sex as much as someone might look at me who knows that I love talking about sex as someone thinks I might be having, if that makes sense. I have a lot of what I'm learning actually from Emily Nagoski's book, Come As You Are, which I highly recommend. I'm almost done with it. I have very sensitive breaks, which is basically like different contexts that tell my body like, shut it down. And that's something that I have just learned in the last month. Like, oh my God, I'm someone with sensitive breaks. I think I have a pretty average, moderate accelerator, but there's a lot of things in the environment and also in my head that can completely turn me off. So now that I've learned that, I am going to approach my sexual relationship with Tyler differently. And I'm really excited about what that's going to look like in 2023. So I've had this app on my phone. It's called Nice, and it's a sex tracker. I love tracking things. It's kind of a problem. It's not a problem. It's only a problem if I make it a problem. But it's interesting. I actually look back. I can look back on my data of how many times did I have sex. I'm putting sex in air quotes because I consider sex to be like any form of sexual in any way, contact, intimacy, whatever. I probably like a makeout session would probably not be sex in my like data tracking. But most other things, yeah. So it's interesting. I can look and see how many times I inputted things in the last year, and I think I want to bump it up a little bit in 2023. I actually want to put into practice some of this stuff that I've learned from Emily Nagoski's book, and there's also an app called Beducated, which I've learned about from a YouTuber I have mentioned during Vlogmas. Her name is Maddie Drosbeck, and she is sponsored by Beducated a lot. And Tyler and I got a year-long subscription to Beducated, and holy cow, I'm so excited to keep exploring some of those courses. I'm just learning so much. Anyway, so that's an area I want to improve. Skincare. Okay, so I mentioned when I was talking about flossing that having that chart is the only thing in my entire life that has actually helped me floss every single day. And even before it was every single day, it was helping me just think about it a lot more often. So I learned from that. And so what I'm gonna do is the same thing for skincare. So I'm pretty good about washing my face in the morning. I'm putting on sunscreen and all of that. What I'm not so great about, and this is actually probably because I don't wear makeup really anymore, I don't feel that physical cue at the end of the day to wash my face. My face usually feels like it did in the morning. So I don't feel like, my face feels gross or it feels heavy, like I feel like I need to wash my face. So I'm less consistent about it at night. But I really want to be better about, you know, putting on a night cream and anti-aging stuff because, you know, the patriarchy making women not want to look older. I don't know. That's a whole other thing that I'm tackling as well. But it's still, hey, I'm a product of society, right? I want to be consistent about anti-aging skincare. That's a topic for a different video, but anyway, so this I think will help me with that. I actually have a column. You can barely see it. It's very faint, but I have not been good about doing face masks, and it's probably because I don't break out as much, and that used to be my cue to do face masks. So we'll see how this goes, but I'm thinking it's gonna work. Might not work super perfectly right away. My flossing chart didn't work super perfectly right away, but eventually it got there. The third area I want to improve in 2023, this is very general and very vague, but food, diet, meals, cooking, groceries, ... routine, consistency, balance. This is an area of life that I have never hacked. I've never been able to figure this out. I've had history with disordered eating. I've had times where I've been totally fine and just like eaten whatever I wanted, but then I felt like, oh, I don't feel healthy. I don't feel my best. My fitness wasn't so great. I wasn't getting the proper nutrition. And there have been times where it's been a little bit more balanced, but maybe then I wasn't really doing a lot of cooking and I was just like eating frozen meals all the time, which there's something inherently wrong with a frozen meal, but I feel better when I am eating more fresh, home-cooked stuff where I have put together the ingredients and I went shopping for this fresh produce and all of that. So I know I feel better when I do that. It's just so hard. Do you, like, are you good at it? Because it's so hard. Like making it a routine to go to the grocery store on a regular basis, and then those groceries that you buy, like turning them into food that you can then eat. That's so hard. So that's something that I really, really want to figure out for myself in 2023. I actually have already come up with a bit of a plan for that, which I would love to share in a different video. It's complicated, right? Because of my history with disordered eating. So I want to explore aesthetic goals without it becoming problematic. You could say exploring aesthetic goals is inherently problematic. You could say that, and I believe you. But Heather right now is going to try this, and it might fail horribly, but it might not. So we're gonna try it. We're gonna try it. But I think that what's gonna help is reframing how I think about cooking, like not as much as being a chore, and getting more excited about it. And now that I have started eating meat again, that's helped a lot. Like I'm just more inspired by food. We'll see what happens, but that's in general an area I want to improve. Another area is gift giving. So this is something that will have to wait until I do have a job, but what I have planned is I'm going to be sending out a gift questionnaire to my friends and my family. This is an idea I got from Michelle. It's a YouTube channel, Michelle B. I don't know. I can't remember. I'm not even subscribed to her, but sometimes she just like pops up on my recommended, and there were a couple videos of hers that I watched about just like streamlining certain areas of your life, and having a gift questionnaire was one of those things. I just think it's gonna be so helpful. Like when it comes time, it's someone's birthday, or it's like a random special occasion, or it's Christmas or whatever. It's a gift giving occasion, and it just takes the guesswork out of it. I'm really excited about that. So that's probably something I'll share in a different video. But sending out the questionnaires, that can be done before I get the job. Of course, actually doing the gift giving will have to wait until I have an income. Going off of that, another area I want to focus on is celebrating milestones and accomplishments. This is more personal, or like between me and Tyler. I want it to be part of our shared culture to really recognize milestones, recognize our accomplishments, and do something to celebrate those things, because we don't enough. And I know that this is very cultural. Some cultures, it's like whatever, it's just expected, like it's not a big deal. What I want is for it to be a big deal, because then I can look back and be like, I lived my life, like I enjoyed my life, and I celebrated when I worked hard and I reached a new level of something, rather than, okay, I got there, what's next? Like I just got my degree and I've done nothing to celebrate that. That's a lot of work, and I just want to take a moment and be congratulated by my loved ones and celebrate myself. So that's something I want to do better. Okay, another area is investing in travel and experiences. So in 2022, I went to Montreal. That was the first time I ever left the country in my life, and it was amazing. And in 2023, I have a trip to Greece planned. Rather than spending money on things when I do have the money to spend, I'm going to be focusing more on investing in saving up for travel and experiences, going to see shows, going out for meals with loved ones, things like that. So another area I want to work on is developing a personal style that does not make me hate my body. Currently, my relationship with clothes is, what can I wear that hides me? That I feel comfortable, that will make me the least aware of where my body ends and the world begins. Yes, I need to work on that, but also, can I figure out a certain style of clothing to start to invest in and curate a wardrobe that maybe does some of that, but also expresses who I am aside from that. And the 8th area I want to improve is spending less time on social media and content consumption. I want to create more. I want to put more out into the world. So the final little section of this video, it's a long one, y'all. Thanks for bearing with me. These are specific things, or a little bit more specific things that have to do with those areas that I want to improve. So number 1, collecting those gift questionnaires that I mentioned before from my friends and family. And part of those questionnaires will be asking for people's birthdays and email addresses and everything, because part of that is updating and streamlining my contact/address book. So I just want to make sure I have people's birthdays accurate, and people's contact information accurate as well. And I think the gift questionnaire will be a great time to be updating that, inputting said birthdays into my calendar. And then another thing I want to do is declutter and reorganize certain neglected areas of my home. So speaking of sex, one of the drawers of my bed, that one is my sex drawer. It's a mess, and it needs to be organized. It needs to be cleaned and organized. I mean, it could be dirty, but it needs to be clean. You know what I mean? But for the most part, I mean, like, things are pretty decluttered. I'm actually working on decluttering little bits here and there, because I will be moving to a different apartment at some point early in 2023. fingers crossed, as early as humanly possible. But I want to make sure I'm only bringing to that apartment what I really want to have with me in my life. So decluttering the neglected areas before I do that would be great. So it's not necessarily about improving the function of my current space. It's just like, how can I pare down even more and even more before I move. Oh, clean and organized sex drawer is the next thing down from there. Develop an actual filming, editing, and upload schedule for YouTube. Never been able to do that. Never been consistent with that. My goal is 2 videos per month. I think that's doable, but I need to actually put in my calendar, when are you gonna film? When are you gonna edit? Because sometimes I'll film and then I'm like, when am I gonna edit? I have no time to edit. And then the video never goes up because I didn't account for editing time. So things like that I want to work on. What hinges on so much of my goals is figuring out how I actually spend my time. So before, when I talked about spending less time on social media, spending less time on content consumption, I actually want to time track for 1 week every quarter as sort of a check-in. So maybe that the first week of the year, I'm actually going to specifically be like, hey, how much time did I spend sleeping? How much time did I spend watching YouTube, watching Netflix? How much time did I spend on French, or like filming videos, or reading for fun, or working, if I'm not going to be working the first week of the year, but you know what I mean? So that I can really figure out, where can I cut back so that I can actually spend time on the things that will be more valuable and fulfilling to me in the long term. Be consistent with my skincare routine. I've talked about that a few different times, and that chart I hope will help. Discover my Kibby body type and curate my wardrobe accordingly. So this has to do with discovering my personal style. I haven't taken the test yet. I am going to do a video where I take the test and actually have Tyler help me take the test, because I anticipate the process being a little bit triggering for me. Based on some videos I've been watching, I think I'm a soft gamine. I want to know what to look for. Like, how can I find clothes that I feel good in, feel like the sensation of wearing the clothes, but also that I feel like I look good in, whatever good means, you know what I mean? Okay. Another thing I want to start doing is saving money again. I haven't had any money to save. I've been using money that I had saved. So, but when I start working, when I readjust my budget accordingly, I will make sure I'm also budgeting for money that I am saving, which is something I was really good at before I started my grad school program. And I'm so thankful for that, because I've had an emergency savings I can fall back on. Thank you, past Heather. Make meal planning and meal prepping a habit. So this has to do with that area of life that I want to work on improving: food, having regular meals that are nutritious and satisfying, prepared, like streamlining that whole process. So my goal right now is to make sure I am prepping meals every week. Every week. Not like I do it for a few weeks in a row and then I don't for like 6 months, which is what 2022 was. Develop a consistent cleaning routine. So I'm not going to pick it up again, it's on the floor, but on my Keep It Together checklist, I have a loose cleaning routine. So these are the things I want to clean every day, every week, or like, you know, twice a month, monthly, quarterly. I've been pretty good about it. Granted, my apartment is very small. When I move, I will move into a slightly larger apartment. So there will be more, like slightly more things to clean, definitely more space to clean. I would love to really solidify my cleaning routine now so that when I move, it could be easier to build on that. And the last thing, I think I want to quit playing games on my iPhone. This was something that occurred to me. I could not sleep a few days ago. I was in bed and I was trying to fall asleep, and I can normally fall asleep pretty well. I don't have trouble with it, but sometimes my brain will not turn off. I think it was Christmas Day. I had way too much sugar that day. I could not sleep. And one of the thoughts I had was, I should just quit playing games on my iPhone because I spend so much time on it. For what? Yes, it's relaxing and it can kind of turn my brain off, but maybe I should find a different thing because there's so many things I want to do, and some of those things I want to do could turn my brain off and relax me, so why not do that instead? So it's gonna be an experiment. I am sort of like binging on my iPhone games right now in anticipation of quitting them at the beginning of the year. But when this video goes up, I will have deleted them from my phone. Thank you so much for watching this super long video. I really hope that it's interesting to you. I hope it inspired you and maybe you got some ideas because you're thinking like, I don't know, it's the new year, maybe I should come up with goals and resolutions. And maybe you're like me and you like to have a lot, because I always like to have a lot of goals, and you just need some ideas. So I hope this gave you some ideas. Let me know down in the comments what some of your goals and intentions are for 2023. I am so curious. I love talking about this stuff. And if you did enjoy this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up, and that tells me that you liked it, because there aren't other ways. Some people just aren't commenters, you know? And so hitting the thumbs up is just really, really quick. I'm actually trying to be better myself about actually liking videos that I like, because I usually just watch them. And I'm like, oh, I like that. I got a lot from that. And I don't do anything to tell the creator that I liked it, that it helped me. So I get it. But I'm gonna try to do better with it. So maybe you can practice right now and tell me that you liked it by giving it a thumbs up. And yeah, like I said, I am going to be more consistent on my YouTube channel in 2023. So if you're excited about more videos like this, about inspiration and motivation and productivity and cleaning and organizing and decluttering and like personal growth, then definitely subscribe, because you're gonna find that here. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Happy New Year again, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.